I'm now glad that I slept on this film and let it marinate a bit before doing this video, because had I done this video after seeing the film yesterday, my tone would be a little bit different. I loved this film visually. The visual effects, the cinematography, the scale and scope of the film and how it was filmed and put on the big screen, actually quite astonishing. I am baffled that this film cost $80 million, yet looks 10 times better than some of the big budget monstrosities that have come out this year. I also really loved the bleak, gritty, sci-fi tone of this film. I don't know what it is about futuristic sci-fis like this and Blade Runner that are really gritty, that just, it does something for me. It just ticks a box for me. The designs for all the futuristic sci-fi concepts that they have in the film, like the buildings and the cars, very Blade Runner-esque and very similar to other kinds of films like Total Recall and whatnot, but it never feels like it's ripping those films off. So visually speaking, it's a treat for the eyes. Tonally speaking, it's pretty enthralling, and it's also quite aesthetically pleasing. I just wish that the story at the centre lived up to this film visually and tonally. That's why I wanted to sleep on this film, to really figure out where I landed with how much I liked it, because overall I did like the film. It's just yesterday I would have said the film was pretty good, but now I'd say the film was decent. The big reason being the emotional core of the film centered around John David Washington's character. Now I'm going to reveal a detail about his character that was not revealed in the trailer. I'm not going to consider it a spoiler because you'll learn about it in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the film. It's just his motivation for going cross-country with this AI girl is to find his missing ex-wife, who he thought he lost a few years ago in some big scuffle with some AI. It's a pretty selfish motivation for him, and you understand why he's going on the journey and jeopardizing a lot of things, because if it was you, you'd probably do the same thing, maybe, if you loved your ex-wife as much as he loves her in the film. But the problem with it for me is the film just failed to get me emotionally on board with his character, his journey, and thus the whole story. There is a scene at the very beginning of the film with him and his wife at the time, and they're doing the flirtatious, romantic, husband-wife kind of stuff. And while it wasn't necessarily bad, it just didn't really do enough. I just felt like the emotional center of the film, with that relationship, John David Washington's connection to his ex-wife, and thus his entire motivations for what he ends up doing with going on this quest, this journey with this AI girl, just kind of felt a little bit hollow and underdeveloped. The actual human and AI war, I liked. It was one of the more intriguing and different versions of a human and AI war that I've seen in a film, because usually it's the AI wants to annihilate the human race, end of story. But in this, it's not like that. The AI are just like, dude, we want to live a peaceful life, but humans be humans. But it's Washington's character and his convictions and his motivations and his desires that's constantly moving the story forward. Because the film failed to get me emotionally invested in his character and his journey, I just was not engaged with the film as a whole. Kind of similar when it comes to Washington's character and the AI girl, because it's the classic Last of Us type formula of an adult and a kid character who are thrown together by circumstance, travel across country, and they end up bonding in the process kind of thing. And towards the end, they attempt these big emotional beats with Washington and this AI girl, and certain things start getting said. You can probably figure out what. And I just didn't buy it. It had a lot of potential to be something really, really great. I was really in the mood for a really great new original sci-fi, a really good, gritty, bleak new sci-fi film. And I was hoping for that from this. I was hoping for greatness with this, like I do with pretty much every film I watch. But yeah, it's just that emotional center, man, just wasn't quite there for me. It's worth seeing on the big screen purely for the visuals. But if you're looking for something to emotionally engage you, don't get your hopes up.